How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. With the Bitcoin pricing doing a correction of about minus 35%, a lot of you have asked me to remake a video and sort of give my thoughts on this. Now, a while ago, right before the Bitcoin price hit $20,000, I sort of sold all of mine off just as a precautionary thing because it ramped up in price so much already. It hit a high of about $20,000 after the two futures exchanges opened up. Shortly after, it plummeted to about $12,500, and right now it's hovering about $14,000. From the very peak of $20,000 all the way down to $12,500, that's about a 37% correction. But I'm pretty much used to seeing about 20% ups and downs, so 37%, well, while it is a lot, it's not really unheard of in Bitcoin world. So can I actually say I predicted this? No, not really. I only sold it based on what my thinking was, is that it was a bit high. I wasn't even sure if it was in a bubble or not. And right now we can't even say that the bubble has popped. My original estimate was that it should fall to somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 before I would actually buy back in. But right now, I'm actually not too sure if I'll actually buy back in, mainly because Bitcoin transaction costs are so high. This makes it so that Bitcoin as itself, it's not a very good use as a currency because you can't just buy small things with it. This kind of makes Bitcoin sort of difficult to use because you cannot really use a Bitcoin unless you're buying really big items such as a car or a house. Therefore, as a technology as it stands right now, I do not think it has that much more room to go because it's limited by those barriers. But those forks that comes off of Bitcoin probably has a much better chance of evolving into something that we can ultimately adapt. Bitcoin by itself, I feel like it's something people just got into. It created a bubble, and once it bursts, it's probably going to just trail down to something very low, and maybe even to zero, because people are just going to jump ship to a brand new Bitcoin fork, and no one will ever use Bitcoin anymore. So therefore, in the long term, it might actually go to very low value. Now, I actually don't think my prediction actually came true just yet, just because it did a correction all the way down to $14,000 right now. I think the prediction will only come true if it goes down to the $2,000 to $5,000 range. And right now, I think that even if it goes to that range, I might not even buy back in because I feel like once it gets there, it's just gonna keep on heading down. When I made that video titled I sold all my Bitcoin, I just got a lot of comments, a lot of hate comments saying like, oh, Bitcoin's gonna go up forever, you're stupid, and things like that. I noticed that as soon as the Bitcoin price dropped below about 17,000 or so, all the hate comments suddenly disappeared. There were just a few of them. I think I got like one or two, but mostly they evaporated. I did not get any more of those after the Bitcoin price sort of fell down, and definitely not right now, right when it's $14,000 right now. I get no hate comments on that video at all because essentially it sort of proved sort of true for now. So without further ado, I noted a lot of comments in the I sold all my Bitcoin video. Whenever it's one comment that is really hateful, or I just thought it was kind of funny, because I could save this comment for later on and I can comment on it like in this video. I've collected about 20 of my favorite comments. These are the ones that sort of made me chuckle a little bit. I know I cannot argue against them right now because everyone was in a frenzy. But at the time, I knew I had a good chance that maybe the Bitcoin price might fall back down. And when it does, I've saved these comments so that I can make a video about them like right now. So with these comments, I'm just going to read the first line or so and just kind of give you my smirk, I guess. So the first one says, "What a fool you are, happy face." Well, I guess I'm not such a fool now. The second one, "BeatTheBush, sorry man, you're an idiot. You're showing us a chart of it spiking up once and decaying once. BTC has multiple support levels from multiple crashes. You cannot show one graph and say that it's the history of BTC. Please educate yourself." Now, whenever someone says, please educate yourself, please educate yourself kind of seems out of place because I do have a master's degree in electrical engineering. Here's another one. These are actually really funny to me. That's why I want to read them out to you guys. "This guy is clueless about Bitcoin and how it moves. Less than 1% of the population know about cryptocurrency and even less are invested in Bitcoin. How is it a bubble? Most people are sleeping." Well, yeah, true, 1% of the population knows about it, but it can be a localized bubble. because only that percentage of the people are invested in it, and only the percentage, that very small amount, will get hurt by this bubble. BTC going to 12K or higher this year. It's not a bubble at all. Way too early. We are in the beginning, in the early investor part of the bubble chart. Cryptocurrency market is a bubble. Most of the coins will go to zero, but BTC will always be king. You should be more worried about the dollar slowly losing its buying power for the years. Now, the dollar loses its buying power by about 2% every single year. So Bitcoin is definitely not as stable as the US dollars, but yes, we're gonna keep on losing value in fiat currencies, of course, but heck, Bitcoin is a lot different of a beast than US dollar. US dollar is very, very stable. Yes, it has inflation built in, but Bitcoin is going to fluctuate like 20%, and like we just saw, 35% from the peak. Now, if anyone actually bought it at $20,000, and let's say they just bought one, okay, before they can buy a pretty nice car with $20,000, now the value is all the way down to $14,000. Now, they lost $6,000. So this is a pretty hefty loss, and a really, really hefty loss if they actually charged their credit card. Let's say they borrowed the $20,000 to buy Bitcoin right at the peak, and now they're $6,000 short, and now they have to pay, I don't know, 15% APR on this $6,000. I think I missed your crash. Corrections are happening all the time. Please define your definition of a crash, as it seems a long way of what an actual crash is. Tisk tisk, I shan't be listening to you again. You're gambling blind like the rest of us, just admit it. I sold my Bitcoin at an average price running up to it of $14,700. I think one of my sells was at $15,500. Right now is $14,000. Now, that's not to say that it might come back up, but this is sort of too early for me to call that the bubble did burst already, but I just want to share some of these comments because now that I can, and mainly because these people, I'm not seeing similar comments like these anymore. Bitcoin almost at $16,000 now. Just wait, won't be long until $20,000. No idea why people thought 10K was a lot, chump change. Well, it did hit $20,000 and now it's at $14,000. So it moves around all the time. I don't understand why people are so angry. If I see someone else make a video saying they bought Bitcoin, big deal. I'm not going to write a comment saying you're stupid or like it's going to go down or something. All these comments basically indicates what a mania phase it is right now for all these Bitcoin bulls. Here's another one. Scared money don't make no money. So why will it pop? Stick to making videos on how to be cheap like a typical bet, man. You're clueless in this market. I don't know how clueless I am about this anymore now because I actually sold it off at a great profit. I bought stuff I wanted. I bought a Mavic drone that was $1,000 and playing with it. Now, people that held on to it, I guess they lost out a little bit on that. It's still not too late to sell right now. It's still at close to the average price at which I sold it for. So I'm not saying it's gonna completely crash. I'm not going to wish people harm that it's going to crash. I'm just going to do what I do on my side, what I think is right for the Bitcoin. So therefore I sold. So yeah, maybe Bitcoin can, just take a pause at this $14,000 mark and then go back up. Here's another comment. Seems a risk-averse and unintelligent person, in my opinion. Profits are irrelevant. What is important is where you think it will go from this point in the future. Profits are irrelevant. Scared money don't make no money again. Guess he likes living in a small house with no decorations. Frugal? Nah, cheap. Hope he has a girlfriend. Oh, come on. You guys are like attacking me personally for selling Bitcoin. All right. You can't compare Bitcoin to the tulip market. Well, I just did. I'm comparing the price only, though. I'm not comparing that it's like a flower. I've heard that same stupid comparison a million times already. Bitcoin futures in tomorrow, so a lot of volatility will go away. You picked the worst time to sell Bitcoin. It'll be at 20K by tomorrow afternoon. A lot of volatility went away. No, a lot of volatility did not go away. it generally hovers around plus minus 10%. And we saw right before the futures opened up, it was like plus minus 20%. Well, after, guess what happened? It's minus 35%. So the volatility actually increased after this futures market opened. Okay, this one is a long one. I'm not gonna read all of it. You can pause it or go back to the video to read it, but let me just read the first line. No, you are very short-sighted. Imagine not if, but when it hits $100,000 to the moon. That's actually your worst decision you have ever made in your life. Worst. Never sell all your holdings ever. Should leave at least 15% in case BTC does reach 100K or more. I sold it all because I don't want it to be in the ride of it going downwards. I just thought, well, you know, I made enough profit. I'm just going to sell it all. So you don't need to tell people, what if it goes to $100,000? This is how I would try to hype other people up to buy into it if I were to do some pump and dump scheme, okay? But I'm not, because I think this is illegal or something. But I'm going to go, oh, you know, imagine this security. It's $1,000 right now. It's going to go to $100,000. It's going to go to $1 million. So you're tapping on to the greed people, whoever that is saying this out there, that's saying that's going to be $100,000, it's going to be $1 million. They're trying to pump it up. You are thinking in terms of it being a speculative bubble based on nothing like tulips or beanie babies. The dot-com boom in many cases was based on nothing, but today we see the money made by interest-based business. You know, this is too complicated. I'm going to skip this one. It's never a bad idea to take some profit, but you're an idiot for selling everything and declaring Bitcoin as a bubble. It shows how little you understand about why people are turning to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not the bubble. It's the pin that will burst the bubble. Look, I will not be an idiot if Bitcoin actually falls down to $2,000 or $5,000, because if it ever happens to do that, okay, then selling all of it will actually be a really, really good idea, because I am not taking any losses from holding on to any portion of it. Now, I don't know if it's going to go down to $5,000 or $2,000, but that's what I think it's going to do. I'm not hoping that it will do that, because, you know, a lot of people have a lot of money in it. I'm just going to take my money off, and just kind of watch it from the side. Why can't I do that? Why do people want to do that and feel compelled to sort of argue against me? There's like some people make multiple comments on this video, like comment after comment, and it might be the same person even. So here's the next one. Not the smartest thing you've done. You got scared. Winners do not get scared. I don't understand this one. Winners do not get scared. Winners should have a healthy sense of being scared, because that is what keeps your money safe. $500,000 one day, it would compete with the dollar. Now, that's a long ways to go, and way before it can compete with the dollar, I think the government will enact a lot of regulations before their dollar, before the United States dollar, the most powerful currency in the world, it's going to fight this, and it's not going to let it, be such a big thing. Bitcoin is relatively small right now. If you look at the Federal Reserve and stuff, when they look at it, they just kind of laugh at it a little bit. They are commenting on it, but I think what they're looking at it as is like, oh my gosh, it's so small. It's pretty insignificant right now. Maybe when it gets a little bit bigger, maybe if it gets maybe 10 times bigger, they have to worry about it. But right now, it's just such a tiny thing that they don't even have to look at it. That's how small Bitcoin is compared to the United States dollar. I'm sorry, but you are a idiot. So this is another resorting to, insults, not even like a real comment where, it tries to break the reasoning behind the video. I gave reasonings behind it, but most of the comments was not sort of anti-argument or argue against me with sort of reasonable facts, because there are none. There are no reasonable facts that you can use to argue against the video I made before, which was, basically a bit speculative, but I was just comparing it to a bubble, and everyone is speculating at that point. Okay, over here, dumbest decision ever. What a terrible move, LOL. Why would you sell off all your Bitcoin? Let's apply all stock logic on something that is growing into a monster. Yes, I did apply stock logic to this. I did apply what looks to be a bubble to me, which is stock logic. And I don't know, it's kind of working out so far. I'd say it's about 1/3 of the way of working out so far. Only when it hits $5,000, oh man, I'm gonna like have a field day making a brand new video on that one. Beat the Bush. Big mistake, bro. You played it too conservatively. Bad move, brother. I don't know. I don't know if it's such a bad move right now. These people that are commenting, they didn't really respond. I can't really track him down. I can't really, go back to the comment and go, hey, what do you think of this right now? Most of these guys, I think they're just, feeling bad for making these comments or something. I guess, if you are one of these people that recognize your comment here, go ahead, respond down below and give a rebuttal. Give your best rebuttal of where it is right now. Maybe you think that it's, taking a pause and it's going to keep on going up. Too smart for your own goods. Sorry for your loss. I really like this one because sorry for your loss kind of assumes that the Bitcoin price will keep on going up. The wording of this comment almost seems like it's a sure thing. It's like guaranteed going to increase in price. So sorry for your loss. It's a very big indicator that people are in this mania phase. It's like there's no way that you can lose. Sort of also like in the .com, everyone is a smart investor when they invest in something, and you can basically buy any stock back in the .com days and everyone's a genius. So there you go. YOLO, you only live once. Remember, less than 1% of people are in. Imagine if 5% of people invest. Life is a risk. Bitcoin to the moon. This kind of scaling is very, very dangerous because you don't know what the market saturation is. You don't know if it's going to saturate at 5% locally within this time frame, or is 1% the saturation point during these few months. So this is kind of like an argument for the pump and dump people, where this is the argument they want to make, like the one in the media where they talk about, oh, gold has a certain market capital. Imagine if Bitcoin went to that amount of market capital. It has much, much more to go. So this kind of imagination is what causes people to keep on buying into it. It's sort of like a somewhat plausible thing if you do not look at it more critically. You kind of go, oh, it can scale 10x from here. So all this greed builds up within people where they go, oh, if I put in $1,000, oh, in like a month, I'm going to get 10 times the amount. Oh, heck yeah. And then the greed builds up and then they go, oh, I should put in more and more. And then they end up putting, all their life savings into it. And right now, what's happening right now? Some people probably bought into it at $18,000 and it dropped down to $14,000. This is the phase where they're skeptical that it actually fell down and they're hoping that it's going to keep on going back up. I think this might be our bull trap phase where $14,000, it's low enough to have people jump in. That's why it went to 14,000 or 12,500 and then it came back up. So right now, I think might be the last time you can sell before it keeps on going down and down. Like I said, I'm not wishing for this, but if you look at that bubble chart, that's exactly where we are right now. When Bitcoin is at 1 million by 2020, you're going to be furious. Yes, I will be furious if it hits 1 million, but if it pans out that it's at this localized bubble and if it goes down to, 5,000, 2,000, I might buy back in, but at this point, I think I won't buy back in based on the arguments I said earlier. So thanks for watching, everybody. These are my current comments at the current price level. I have no idea where it's going to go. It might pop back up. Will it hit back to $20,000? I'm not too sure. I think it's going to be very difficult. I'm not willing to bet on it because I'm certainly not shorting Bitcoin right now. So thanks for watching my comments on other people's comments on my previous video and also my beliefs on where Bitcoin is going to go moving forward. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know what you think if you recognize one of your comments that I responded to. If you're interested in supporting my channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook. And if you don't like this audiobook, you can cancel it before the subscription expires, and yet you can still keep this audiobook for free. So you can try this out and also help benefit this channel. I also have a Patreon over here where you can support my channel directly, and I give perks such as help with your credit score, help with your finances, or things like spreadsheets that I've used in the past videos. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel over here and click that bell icon next to that subscribe button so that you get a new notification whenever I upload a brand new video. Thanks for watching.